Good morning, Africa. And yes, today is Tuesday, the 20th of January 2026. I did not forget to count today's date. And yes, you're waking up to the Idea Morning Digest. I hope you're just waking up. If you're already in the office or you're on your way to work, yes, this is the Idea Morning Digest. And we are glad that you are starting your morning today with us. So we have a whole lot lined up for you. We're going to be breaking down, headlines, checking out a lot of stories that are making headwaves or making waves in the country and in Africa and also and beyond this morning. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and this is how I welcome you to the Idea Morning Digest. Of course, I am not alone, and I'm never going to be alone on the Idea Morning Digest. This morning I have Gabriel again with me. Get used to this face with me, yes, on the Idea Morning Digest.
You're welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you, Gabriel. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm fine.
How's the Tuesday?
Tuesday is going on well.
We can't wait to count down to Friday.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. If you like what we do here, things around science, technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, development, research, every other life issues that matters to you and I, this is the right place to, get a hold of them. This is the right place to hear perspectives, hear conversations, hear talks, hear the latest trends about them. You can send in your thoughts, send in your comments, send in your ideas, send in your opinions to us at IDEA Television and of course via our mail at IDEA TV Limited. And like I always tell you, we want to hear from you. But before we go on this break, let's see the stories we'll be bringing your way this morning. And the first is that the federal government is set to launch technical college admissions today, or on Monday next week rather. And then ANAMBRA task force cracks down on illegal revenue collectors. And then there's outrage over Katsina amnesty deal. And lastly, Nigeria's cash usage surges amid digital drive. And that's what we are going to be bringing your way on the news reviews segment. But let's go on a quick break and we'll come back to that.
Hi, welcome to IDEA TV, the first innovation television. At IDEA TV, we bring you cutting-edge stories, insights, and shows that redefine innovation across Africa and beyond. Get ready to upgrade your mind. IDEA TV is your go-to destination for the latest trending news, cutting-edge tech, and innovative ideas that shape our future. From technology and innovations, business, health, education, and agriculture, climate solutions, science, and research. Stay ahead of the curve with us at IDEA Television.
Smart apps. Smart apps leverage AI and machine learning to provide personalized user experiences and automate tasks. These apps are being used across sectors like finance, healthcare, and retail to improve customer engagement and operational efficiency. For example, smart investment apps offer tailored financial advice, while healthcare apps assist in diagnostics. However, data privacy remains a concern as these apps collect sensitive user information. The market for smart apps is projected to grow to $62.4 billion by 2025.
Okay, welcome back. It's still the Idea Morning Digest, and the first story here with me is that the federal government will officially open the admission portal for all federal technical colleges nationwide this coming Monday, January 26th. And the Education Minister, Dr. Tunji Alausa, approved the move yesterday as part of a strategic drive to provide young Nigerians with tuition-free, industry-relevant skills. And prospective candidates aged 13 to 20 must apply through the National Business and Technical Examination Board online portal before the May 24th deadline. And a valid national identification number is now a mandatory prerequisite for all applicants to complete their registration. And this year's National Common Entrance Examination is scheduled to take place across the country on the 6th of June. Officials emphasized that once admitted, students will benefit from fully funded education which is aimed at fostering self-reliance and boosting national productivity. And this initiative follows a massive surge in interest in vocational training, with applicant numbers tripling over the last year. To support this growth, the Ministry of Education has upgraded 38 colleges and introduced a dual training model that blends classroom theory with hands-on experience. And the government is also offering monthly stipends to students to encourage enrollment in these high-demand technical tracks. And I think this is a very, very good announcement, a very good news. And what stands out here in this announcement is, the traditional education model is, failing a large number of students, and this is what the Education Board wants to overhaul. When a government suddenly places this much emphasis on technical colleges, then technical colleges, tuition-free education, like it is stated here, and even stipends, I think it tells you that the labor market has spoken for itself. We are beginning to come to the realization that we need all of these things. We need all of these skills in the labor market. We need all of these skills in our day-to-day lives. And it's saying that degrees alone are not enough. And I think this move is essentially an acknowledgement that Nigeria cannot keep producing certificates, just like we talked about yesterday. I think this is good that all of these are resurfacing on all of the news we have been having since last week. It's very good. It shows that we are beginning to come, like I said before, come to the realization that we need skills. We need skills. Yes. We need competency. We need, we are beginning to realize that certificate holders without employable skills are not relevant, are not going to match up to, our economy or our economical needs. And also, technical education is very, very important because as most of this technical education used to be seen as second-class schooling, second-class education, So take, for instance, polytechnics. I mean, if you go to a polytechnic rather, you are being mocked. It's as if you have not really gone to school. It's not like that. Polytechnic, skills. Exactly. You see people in polytechnic, they'll still be saying, when I'm done here, I'm going to... What are you going to do again? How many certificates do you want to carry? Unless you're a scholar, then I can exempt you. But then, I think it is very... I like that all of these things are, like I said, resurfacing and, the need for us to upskill, the need for us to build vocational students, children, young people in vocational training. And now the government is trying to rebrand it as, fast, as fast as they can, rather, because it is a fast lane to productivity. Like I said before, it is a fast lane to dignity. It is a fast lane to self-reliance. That self-reliance we have been talking about, calling Nigerian youths lazy. I remember late President Muhammadu Buhari will say lazy Nigerian youths. But these are the things lazy Nigerian youths need so that they can be self-reliant, and it's a necessary correction, and we are stepping up to that because it is long overdue. But then I've said much.
Yeah, this marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards national development as a government, officially launching admission into our technical colleges. As in taking a look at it, this initiative reflects our strong commitment to empowering our youth with practical skills, just like you said just now. Innovation-driven technology, industries relevant, and competitiveness. This meets demands of our modern economic. So it helps build the skills. As in bringing this, what Dr. Tunji Alausa is doing, this is a big move.
Yes, it's
a big move because now it's going to equip most of our youth into getting just like you said just now, acquiring skills and know what innovations is all about. Introducing it in schools like this is very, very essential, and it will help in the growth of development in the educational sector.
I would like to point that the free education and stipends that they will be giving to, because a lot of young people want to go into things. They want to go into lots of trainings, but they cannot because they do not have money to
go for
afford it.
Sure.
Yes, so sure. I like that they are coming out with free education, but I must still note it's still noteworthy rather that most of all of these free tuition and stipend, in as much as it is good and attractive, I just need to state that they won't fix all of those trust deficits that Nigerians have. I've been speaking about trust a lot for the past how many months, and okay, but then we just have to know that it won't fix all of those things. We want to see, because a lot of parents will come out to ask, are the workshops functional? Hope they are not going to put one computer there and ask only one student to come and put it on, while the others stay and watch and like, oh yeah, observe from afar. You know, instructors want to know, parents want to know, students want to know. Are some of the instructors, are some of the teachers that bring, are they trained? Are they industry, you know, equipped with industry standards? We want to know all of these things, and we want to know that after this phase, will there be room for all of these graduates to be employable? Will there be, you know, funds, seeds for them to, you know, continue with what they have learned, put it into? Because sometimes even after these trainings, you don't have money to invest in those skills. Exactly. To invest in a business or something. And we want to, all of these questions are very, very relevant, because if the answers to these questions are weak, then I just think this enrollment will just be a tapper off, or a tap off, and, you know, it will just come and go. This is very good at the end of the day, very, very good. But I don't want to dwell much on this. So okay, go ahead.
All right, I just want to just like
yes,
so it should be aiming to nurture skills.
Exactly.
You understand? So technical skills, ASEANs and engineers. You know, this in this our age. You know, most of what our youth really need now is skills.
Exactly.
So bringing this up now will really help the technical schools to be equipped with fundamental knowledge of what they are going to learn. Standardized, you understand, ba? So it will help them and guide them even after they have left the school. After they are equipped with this knowledge, they'll be able to stand on their own. Exactly. Just like you are saying just now, not bringing computer and at the end of the day, as in to even know how to operate it. I could still remember back then in school, you know, during our time, we are only they will bring one system, about 8 to 9 students will be on one system.
More than
then
that.
They will show this is processor, this is the key.
More than 8 to 9. Session by session.
Session by session.
In a class that is like 250 students, they'll divide us.
So you can imagine.
Yes.
So at least if this can be looked into, and thank God it's a good one. What the minister is doing is a good one. Yes. Kudos to him.
Okay, moving to Anambra State, and where we see that the Anambra State government has intensified its war against extortion with the arrest of 6 illegal revenue collectors in the Ogbaru local government area. Operatives of the Special Anti-Touting Squad apprehended the suspects yesterday during a coordinated raid around the River Niger bridges. The suspects are accused of posing as government agents to forcefully extort money from motorists, traders, and local investors. The managing director of the squad, Monde Nwokoye, confirmed that the operation followed multiple tip-offs from victims. He reiterated that under the administration of Governor Chukwu Masoludo, all cash collections for state revenue are strictly prohibited. The government has mandated that all legitimate levies must be processed through the official point of sale system to ensure transparency and eliminate the influence of touts in public spaces. The authorities have issued a stern warning that anyone caught collecting unauthorized levies will face immediate prosecution. This latest crackdown follows a similar exercise in November, where 7 individuals were arrested for similar offences across the state, and officials say these measures are vital to restoring order and protecting the state's economic interests from criminal elements. I think this story for me is about state authority reclaiming its space, and it's very, very important. And it's not just about revenue. First of all, we talked about, when we were talking about the tax issue and the new tax reform, I was like, let's move past the government, let's move past the committee, the tax committee people. Let's come down to the value chain. That is where the problem too will be.
Yes.
I remember I cited an example of in real time, not like it's just a barber who was put in front of his barbing salon, that if you pay with, if you transfer money to him, you add 50 naira. So
okay,
yes, and all of those things. So this is when we talk about illegal collectors. When we talk about the people in the value chain, the illegal collectors in the value chain. When we talk about multiplicity of tax, this is what we are talking about. You are paying unnecessary for things you don't even know why you are paying for, because
Honestly.
people are stationed here and there. Even if they say this is this tax law, everybody must comply. But there are people who are stationed here and there collecting money from you, extorting you for no reason. So I think all of these illegal collectors thrive where governance is inconsistent and where enforcement is weak. So I like that the government have kind of allowed, have kind of come to this to tackle this situation once and for all. Because once a government allows even a small window of informal levies to have their way, it creates an ecosystem of how should I put it, of intimidation that scares away even genuine business owners, because there you have it, investors too are complaining that they are being extorted by all of these people. And I really like what ANAMBRA is doing with this. If you go to ANAMBRA, you understand why I really like what they are doing. ANAMBRA is very, here and there is up and going. You think Lagos is loud, go to ANAMBRA, go to Iweka. And, I just like what Anambra State is doing. It just signals this seriousness for me, especially even as an investor. You can easily go to this place, and want to do your business because you feel that you are safe. But a place where investors cannot thrive, they cannot do their business with that mindset that they are safe, it's a problem. And all of this cashless revenue collection is not just about transparency, if we even want to look at it very well, because it's more like removing that human discretion from taxation, and the discretion is where abuses lies. So if we separate these two factors, we'll have a fair tax, we'll have a progressive tax. We will not be, battling with if the tax is here to bring better reform for the people or not. It is the people in the value chain. It is us down to the value chain that are causing this problem. That's why we are contesting these tax reforms. However, something I must state here that seems more like an uncomfortable truth is that we don't always, acknowledge the fact that all of these illegal collectors are not operating in a vacuum. They have corporate bodies in which they operate. That's what we must know. Many of them have enjoyed some sort of political protection. Exactly. Many of them have people in the upper body that say, na chairman say make we can't collect them. Na chairman is going back to chairman, one chairman somewhere, and it's not a lie. It's going back to one chairman. So we've seen all of this in the past. So sustained enforcement is very important here. Even if Anambra State is saying we want to enforce this law to, eliminate illegal collectors, they must sustain these efforts. That is where we'll get success. We must sustain this effort. We must sustain this effort. And I think this approach is very good. And kudos to Anambra State.
The Anambra State coming in to reaffirm its commitment to transparency, accountability,
very important,
and the protection of citizens. This is a good one. With the inauguration of Joint Task Force to clamp down illegal revenue collectors, operating across Anambra State. Because most of these guys, some of them, they operate just like you said, under maybe one boss somewhere, and they want to use that as a clampdown. This decisive action is aimed at eliminating unauthorized individuals and groups who extort traders.
Exactly.
Most of these guys, they extort traders as an unauthorized. That is just their work, and it does not make any sense at all. But if the government of Anambra State is really coming in to clamp down this illegal revenue collectors, I think it's a good one. Because most of them, even the way they are dressed, you just know that these ones, they are hungry. Let me use that word. Sorry to say. Because it's not even only in Anambra State. It happened even here in Abuja here. You see some of them, they will just ambush you, and, some of them, they don't even have ID cards. And before you know, they will just put you on one side, as in collect your money. So they will even go to the extent of even breaking your tire. Yes, they do that. My brother was once a victim when he was just going somewhere. He just wanted to park to receive a call. They just clamped down on him that why is he stopping here? That this is an illegal place to stop. He's trying to carry passenger. He said he's not carrying any passenger. That he's just trying to make call, receive call. Before you know, do you know that they have to take him from there to the station? to one of their organ, not even the station, one particular place,
Chairman
and he
is
has
somewhere.
to pay and pay him. So it's a good one if the government of Anambra State is cracking down these illegal revenue collectors so that there can be a balance in the system. You know, because many trades, some people want to go and trade there, some people want to go and, because if you don't do this now, it can attract investors, just like you said.
Exactly.
You know, so it's a good one by Anambra State government.
Okay, so next, anger is mounting across Nigeria today following the Katsina state government decision to release 70 suspected bandits as part of a controversial peace pact. Major socio-political groups, including Afenifere and the Arewa Consultative Forum, have condemned the move as a reckless threat to national security, while the government defends the release as a necessary prisoner exchange to secure the freedom of over 1,000 abducted civilians. Critics argue that negotiating from a position of weakness only emboldens terrorists and denies justice to thousands of victims killed since 2021. The move has sparked a fierce backlash from religious and community leaders within Katsina, who feared the freed suspect will return to the bush or carry out reprisals against those who testified against them. Security experts and the Minister of Defense have warned that such amnesties undermine the rule of law and redistribute insecurity to neighboring regions. Despite the outcry, state officials maintain the process is legal and essential for local peace, and even as residents threaten legal action to halt the release. The federal government is now facing intense pressure to intervene and stop the exercise. Opponents has the constitutional authority to negotiate with armed groups, and that any deal must be preceded by total disarmament. I beg your pardon. For now, a tense silence remains as the State Ministry of Justice, leaving the public in a state of high anxiety over whether the suspects have already returned to the streets. This is, emotions are high here, and it's quite understandably so that emotions will run high, because what is going on in Nigeria? What is going on in Nigeria? But I think, but beyond the outrage, first of all, there's a dangerous precedent, there's a dangerous precedent being set here. When armed violence becomes more like a bargaining chip, I think it subtly tells us that criminal groups, it subtly tells other criminal groups, rather, that violence pays, that violence is allowed, violence is a good thing, because as long as you can hold enough people hostage, and then they are coming out to seek amnesty for you, they're coming out to seek that a release. I don't know, because this isn't just a moral issue now. I don't want to take it from a moral standpoint. I think it's a structural one, because Nigeria's security framework is meant to be centralized for a reason, because fragmented negotiations cause fragmented consequences. And what are we seeing here? What do we have here? What happens when neighboring states start cutting their own deals? Who now owns the long-term fallout? What are we seeing here? Like, I'm asking so many questions that even I myself cannot answer. I don't know who have the answers to this question, but communities are cheering amnesty today. There may be victims of this same violence tomorrow. And if we want to achieve peace, we have to understand that peace cannot be achieved without when justice is fragile. And this is what we are getting here with this case. And then you see, peace must be achieved with accountability. It must be achieved with accountability. And accountability should not be temporary. So the fear that people are expressing here, all of these locals are expressing, is not a paranoia. It's more like it's their experience. It's a lived experience. They are scared because, like one of my friends would say, you have not lived with this. You have not lived in situations like this, so you won't understand.
You won't. It's
people who have lived experience that will understand. So it's only right for the locals to come out and say, question this move by the Katsina state government. And I think this also exposes the limits of state power, because when states feel that they are compelled to negotiate directly with terrorists, with violent actors, then I don't know. It only tells us that they don't, should I say, they don't believe the national security architecture can protect them adequately. Because we have the AFRICOM already, the joint operational system with the US and all. They are already tackling this issue. So why do we have, even if we're saying that power should be decentralized to state, but this is now a national issue. States should not just stand up and decide on what to do. So I think they should listen, especially listen to the people of this state, listen to the locals. They are complaining, they are saying this is not right. A reprisal for terrorists. Okay.
Honestly, the question I used to ask is, how did we get here? That is the first question I used to ask. Because I don't think Nigeria was not like this in the time past. Nigeria was not like this. Well, how did we get here? To the extent of negotiating with these guys and creating amnesty deals with killers and bandits. And if you look at the picture, you see them holding armories, holding weapons. How did we get here? How? How can the state be negotiating with terrorists for a peace deal? That they will be giving them some condition that you have to pay some levy before you get into your farm. You have to pay so amount of levy before you get. As in, what are the state military and what are they doing?
What are they doing?
Because the more you keep empowering these guys with this, they will not stop. Because it has become a business for them. Yes. It's now a business.
No avenue for blackmail.
When they do this, they kidnap people and you go to create peace talk with them, you negotiate with them. They will do it more because they know that, okay, now, since you have
violence pays.
It pays. As in,
let's continue.
How did we get here? That is the question I used to ask. How? So there should be a way, a structural way, how to go about this, how to get these guys. Because since the Americans are coming in, the security are coming in, Nigeria is only Tinubu, thank God for President Tinubu, also collaborating and trying to make sure that these guys are being excluded and are being neutralized. So in every state, every governor now should rise up. Every governor should. There shouldn't be a partisan or a way of negotiating with bandits. As in, this is abnormal. To me, it's very, very abnormal. And I keep asking, how did we get here? Because some of these guys, they are killers. Not some. They are killers. You could see the mayhem and what they are doing.
Gumi says they are our brothers and they are what?
Coming to Gumi case, I don't even want to talk about that one.
Brother.
I don't even want to talk about that one because this man automatically needs to be investigated. Gumi, he needs to be investigated. He needs to be checked. Because you can't be doing this. All hands is pointing on you. These are your boys doing this. All hands is pointing at Gumi.
So you should from a former military personnel.
As in, this is very, very abnormal. So this needs to be checked. Thank God for our military. They are really trying their best. Our military are trying, honestly. Because coming from the news ranging from this week down to this time, how they have eliminated and neutralized bandits in both Kaduna and Borno State. Kudos to them. And even the hideout of how they are being supplied fuel, how they went underground and neutralized there. They are doing a nice job. Then every state now, especially this Katsina state, they shouldn't be going into a peace deal. Now it's creating what's it called? I don't know how to put it now. Like it's creating I don't know how anyway, let me just allow you to go on. I'll because I'm just upset with that.
I know you are upset.
A suspicious act. Sorry, that's what I want to use. It's creating a suspicious act.
It's allowed to be very angry at this point in time. But then let's not dwell on this news story. Let's take the last news story because we do not have time on our side.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes. Okay, despite Nigeria's rapid shift toward digital banking, new data reveals that physical cash is far from disappearing. And today, the Committee of Heads of Banks Operations announced that ATM withdrawals nearly tripled over the past year, reaching over 36 trillion naira in the first half of 2025. And speaking ahead of the 2026 Banking Operations Conference, Access Bank General Manager Abraham Aziegbe I think this punctures a popular myth. Yes, that Nigeria is rapidly becoming cashless.
Yes.
And what we are seeing instead is a dual economy. We have not seen that, pretty much cashless society that we perceived and was rolled out in 2010, 2012. I'm not seeing it because we have more like a dual economy now from what I'm seeing. There's that digital convenience for those who are comfortable using digital systems for transactions. And then there are those who are using cash for survival. I think I fall into that category. But then I think cash remains king. Not because Nigerians are resistant to change. I just feel like digital systems are still unreliable for millions of people. The other day I was frustrated because I was trying to send money to someone and I was stranded because I wanted to go home. I needed transport and I couldn't send money for the whole day, and I was calling different people. So it's still not reliable. We have low internet access. We have, so many issues. I think from I'm not a banker, but I can say from what I know, I think this surge isn't a failure. Yes, that's the whole cashless society. We have not met up to it. We are more like it's a dual economy for Nigeria. I think it's not a failure. I just feel like it's a feedback. Yes. It's only telling us that people want options. And so we cannot completely, I do not sign that we should completely rule out cash. So it should be like cashless society should be there, and then cash usage should be there. So whatever you are comfortable using, you use it. I just feel like there should be options because there are market women, even non-market women. There is me. There is some other people. There is you. There's some people that want to use cash. There are some people that prefer, transferring monies, online, making transactions online. There's transport operators. In Nigeria here, we are even saying cashless society. Are you going out and you never have cash in your pocket? You must have cash because if you tell a cab driver that you want to transfer money to, except
and it's not all of them
the Uber driver, it's not even all of they hardly accept it because they'll feel like you want to cheat them.
Exactly.
Some network, no trust in the system because network failure is there, and you go here, Oga, which time I want what if I no receive and quick, and anything can happen at any point in time. So there are rural traders. There are so many people there. They operate in environments where network downtime equals to loss of income. Say you transfer that money to the cab driver and then he's just nice enough to say, okay, go Oga, I go see him, and he never receives it and the money bounces back to you. Where you go get them to give him? It's not like OPay that saves people's account number. What if you're using another bank that does not save people's account number? So I think cash is very certain. Cash is very important too. And there's a part that we do not hit enough, that we do not see enough, that all of these financial inclusions we are talking about, it isn't about apps. Financial inclusions is not about apps. It's about trust. Every time I'm talking about trust in Nigeria, and I think that's our major problem, and that's the solution to our problem. It's about trust. Nigerians must trust in the system. Nigerians only trust what they see. Sure. Nigerians only trust what they can hold.
What they can see. Exactly.
If something is not, tangible, if they cannot hold it, Nigerians don't want that.
Exactly.
And all of these digital platforms we are talking about, we have to understand that until all of these digital platforms can guarantee reliability, we can say, okay, we are at rest using it. They can guarantee us that security, that fairness them, where they are not ready to go. So I think it's all good altogether. It's all good altogether. Let's just fight for a resilient economy.
Exactly.
Not about how to eliminate cash overnight and bring back this one and bring back this one. In where Nigeria? Okay.
Because, this take me back to the issue of Emefiele cash during cash scarcity. I still remember Emefiele during cash scarcity. Where you have to use money to buy money. I mean, you cannot totally, in the sense that they are trying to promote electronic transaction through mobile banking and through mobile banking, transfer online and fintech. There should be a way that cash will also be available, because you cannot totally wipe out cash from the system. You understand? So it's a good one. But there should be a balance in which this inclusion can be standardized, because it's not everybody that will want to do mobile transfer. Like for example, the issue of network. you want to make transfer now, network keeps tagging, and you cannot even meet up with the transaction. And it's not everybody that want to, use that money transfer, just like you said. So striving for digital strive in cash usage should be balanced also, because these efforts are amid at improving transparency, reducing the cost of cash handling, curbing corruption, and enhancing financial inclusion also. However, despite this advancements, many Nigerians still rely heavily on cash for daily transaction. I think that's just what I have to say on that.
Okay, I think we'll spend much time here, but then we have interesting stories. Why won't we spend more time here? Let's go on this quick break, and we'll be back with the discussion segment.
Hi, welcome to iDEA TV, the first innovation television. At iDEA TV, we bring you cutting-edge stories, insights, and shows that redefine innovation across Africa and beyond. Get ready to upgrade your mind. iDEA TV is your go-to destination for the latest trending news, cutting-edge tech, and innovative ideas that shape our future. From technology and innovations, business, health, education, and agriculture, climate solutions, science, and research. Stay ahead of the curve with us at iDEA Television.
AI augmented development. AI is now revolutionizing software development by automating code generation, testing, and debugging. Tools like GitHub Copilot suggest code snippets in real time, significantly speeding up the development process. However, developers need to remain cautious, as over-reliance on AI tools could introduce security vulnerabilities. As companies push for faster software delivery, AI-augmented development is becoming essential for maintaining competitiveness.
Okay, welcome back, and this is still the iDEA Morning Digest, and today we're talking about making the invincible vincible, or visible rather, and there's this report that came out, and so first of all, let me say, if you are sitting down for a breakfast right now, I don't know if it's time for, if you must have had your breakfast, but if you are just having your breakfast and you're sitting down for a breakfast right now, just take a look at your plate. I want you to stop and take a look at your plate, because most of us see a meal when we look at our plate, but a massive new study by Avery Dennison says that globally we are looking at a staggering 540 billion contradiction in a world where hunger still exists. So today on the discussion segment, Gabriel will be breaking down the reported the title of this report, or the report was titled "Making the Invincible Visible." And we want to take a closer look at the numbers. We want to take a look at the causes and the uncomfortable questions that this crisis raises, and why food waste is no longer just an environmental issue, but a serious economic and governance problem. And what like I always talk, it's not about big numbers. It's what those big numbers quietly admits. It's what those big numbers quietly say, about food systems, about food security in the world. First of all, we are looking at the scale of the loss. And honestly, when food waste comfortably, crosses that $500 billion mark, we're saying 540, if I'm not mistaken, and $40 billion dollars. And I think it stops being a problem when food waste crosses that $500 billion mark. It stops being a problem. We start looking at it from the angle of business models. Nobody want to, interrogate. Because if this level of loss has persisted and grown year after year, then I think inefficiency is no longer accidental. It's a structural problem. It's a structural issue. It means waste has been priced into the system. It has been normalized. It has been insured against. And it has been quietly accepted as a collateral damage. So I feel like this kind of loss could only happen if a system, it could only happen in a system that is, should I say, more like designed for speed, abundance, and profit margins, and then also for balance and, should I even say, for responsibility. So the world didn't just fail to stop food waste. We optimize everything instead. So when we talk about the scale of the loss, this food waste, the figures will keep rising because we have not come to understand that system. We have not come to understand that value chain around food and around food waste and around what we eat. And let's go to where the waste is coming from now. What I make of the product categories mentioned here, because we are seeing a lot of product categories mentioned here, especially meats. We've built consumption around perfection and not nutrition. And we've built it on what? There are certain foods that people have given value to. That people will say, oh, if you can afford this, you'll be even tagged as, rich. You'll be tagged as, you are living the life. We are seeing meat, we are seeing fresh produce, we are seeing dairy. These are foods with short lifespan. There's foods with short lifespan. So when you talk about foods that, and you cannot help to even think that most of these foods, they are affected by all of these aesthetic standards. That all of these aesthetic standards, like I said, there are some food that you buy. There's some food in the world now that if you can afford them, you will be looked upon like a rich person. You'll be looked at like, okay, you are living the life and what's not. And I think if it doesn't look perfect, it will not sell enough. It will not sell fast enough. That is what some of these foods, especially when it comes to dairy, when it comes to meat, have been, taken as, or there will be masked at with consumer mood. If people are not, willing to buy it, if people are not, if it's not okay, if it's not looking nice, if it's not packaged well, people will not want to buy it. And meat especially is revealing that to us, because most of the most resource intensive food like water, feed, energy, land becomes the hardest to manage. That is what we do not understand. And it tells us something that is fundamentally off. We are treating the most expensive inputs as the most disposable inputs. And that is not a storage problem. That is where we talk about value as a problem. So anytime I talk about the value chain, there's a whole lot about the value chain. There's we the people, there's different aspects of that value chain. But then Gabriel, talking about system failure when it comes to all those global food wastage, what can you say about it?
Talking about this, the push for a higher tax on sugary drinks and alcoholic beverages, is driven, relating it to the 5.40 billion food waste crisis. Public government institutions and international organizations really need to come together to know more of what we are relating to. System failures in the supply chain, poor inventory management, overstocking and lack of visibility during transportation and major driving of waste. Most of this waste comes in as a result of overstocking. You understand? So the overstock foods, such like, as you said, some meats, they are being preserved. Preserved meat for a long time, and most of these preserved meat, they end up not being used, and they are wastage. And the lack of visibility during transportation are major, because some of these wastable foods, they comes from either being exposed or too preserved. If it's too exposed, it can attract diseases and photosynthesis to cause more harms to the human body. So most of this, it comes as a result of all these physical how will I put it now? Physical supplements, physical attractors that combines in the failures of not being supplied supply to the right and supply to the right needs for the people to use. What I'm just trying to say is that most of these visibilities of food that are being used and are being wasted, they are not being preserved well. So at the end of the day, they turn to a waste. So, and if it is not well preserved, it can harm the body, the human body. So, and if food is like just like you said, if the meat is not well preserved, it's not good. So it's as good as being destroyed or being packed away, and that gives us more wastage in the 540 billion food wastage crisis. So it incubates more on that, you know.
Yeah, just to add to what you're saying, talking about all of these system failures and the supply chain and all of it, but anytime we count food wastages, we always tend to target as a supply chain issue, but it is also a how should I put it? It's also a leadership issue. It's also a systemic failure, because if you come to look at it, when most of these companies say poor visibility or inventory challenges, what they are often really saying is that we expand faster than our intelligence systems could keep up with, and this is what happens when growth outpaces governance. So when you get when food travels across continents, but you see that accountability does not go with it. You are now accounting for if this food is standard. You are now accounting for if the expiry date is still relevant rather. All of these things. Accountability will travel. If food travels rather across continent, accountability should be able to travel, with it. And, also when we talk about logistics as well, logistics are global responsibility. It should not just be fragmented. It should not just be met in silos. It's a global responsibility. You cannot just send something, export something and say, okay, after all, it is not going to, it's going out of the country, it's going away, and then you just, you are not accounting for anything that comes with it, whether it spoils or whether it perishes, so it's no longer your problem. I mean, everyone handles their own segment of the food chain, I understand. And we have to understand that when food disappears in the middle, nobody truly owns the loss, except the planet. It will suffer for it. The economy will suffer for it. And eventually, the consumers will suffer for it, because you get to pay more for it. The climate will suffer for all of these things. So I just feel like, yes, it is a supply chain issue, but we should also understand that it's a leadership issue, it's an accountability issue, and it's also called for transparency too. And also what bothers me again is this inflation around the world. Wasting food is not neutral. It's very aggressive, because every food wasted, every wasted product represents not just a loss of food, but a loss of that purchasing power, like I said earlier on. It affects our economy. There will be a loss to subsidies. Yes, we must understand that. There will be loss to energy. There will be loss to time. It will affect productivity in the long run too. So I just feel like the more food we waste at scale, the more expensive food becomes for us. So we should have all of this at the back of our minds. Find alternative ways that we can manage food, because this is a world problem. This is not about a particular region. It's not about Africa. It's not just about Nigeria. It's not just about somewhere. It's a world problem. They are saying there's global loss in the economy when it comes to food wastage. We are wasting food, and a lot of people are out there that are still hungry. I mean, I'm just looking at the is it the irony, or how should I put it here? Like, people are hungry. People are out there. I'm looking at that hunger paradox now. People are out there. They are hungry. People are looking for food, and yet we are complaining about food. Where is this food that we are wasting? Where is it coming from? Is it the word that we are complaining that we are complaining about farming systems? We are complaining about so many things in our agricultural sector. Is it the same word that we are wasting food? Is it the same word that we have people who are on the street begging and they have not eaten anything since morning? Is it the same word that we are wasting food? So I think the coexistence of all of this massive food waste and widespread hunger is not a tragedy. I just feel like it's an indictment, and we should understand that, because hunger today is really about all of this global scarcity. It's because there is mismanagement.
Yes.
There is lack of access. We have not properly put our policy well. We have not shaped policy choices well in the right places that it should go to, and meet or create the right solutions or proffer the right solutions it should. And there's also logistic priorities. Sometimes it's most likely that we are providing food is being provided for people that have the money to pay for it. Food, yes, all over the world is somehow the same. Food is being provided for people that can pay for it. And what if you cannot pay for it? Most times it's almost as if you can't eat good food because you cannot afford it. Yes. So you notice that there's logistic priorities. They are taking food to where they can pay for it, they can afford it, And also there's that lack of political will. It is not a one person's problem. This is a structural problem. Yes, the government should even look into this of each country, because this is a global problem. Look into this and see how we can manage food properly. We don't lack food. We don't lack food in the world. There is ground. The world is very big. There's sparse land for you to till the ground and eat. Provide food, but we just lack that seriousness. We lack an organized system. And if a system can afford to lose hundreds of billions, are you seeing the hundreds of billions we are counting there? $540 billion, hundreds of billions in edible products. These are not the ones that perish in edible products. Then I think hunger is not a failure of capacity here. It is a failure of moral economics. We have not shaped things the way they should be shaped. We have not taken the right. It's a mismanagement problem, and that's why the issue refuses to stay environmental. It is working through government rooms. It is working through our ethics. It is working through transparency. It is working through accountability. It's calling on everybody that this is not an environmental issue. We are not just talking about climate now. We are not just talking about food security. One thing I always tell people is that food security affects so many aspects of our lives. Our livelihoods, even our thinking capacity, everything affects. So this problem now has gone beyond the environmental issues. It has gone beyond climate issues. It is about governance now. It is about ethics. It's about accountability. It also brings out that sense of ownership that I always talk about too. We should understand how food is being wasted. It comes from mismanagement. And until we understand that, I think we'll go over this, issue continuously for a very long time. We just have to find a sustainable way to manage food globally, properly. Gabriel, you have something to say about this before we call it a wrap?
Because you've really said everything that has to do with food management, and this is no longer the case of scarcity of food or poverty, as you said, that because this is a case of managing waste, managing food. Because for any country to grow and to eliminate poverty from the people in terms of hunger, there should be times of food management. There should be food management consideration.
More than enough. We are producing more than enough, but more than enough. We are producing more than enough, but it's just because of that lack of management, that mismanagement issue. We are wasting too much. That is why food prices are even going higher, and still yet everyone is struggling to feed fairly. So I just feel like food crisis isn't invincible anymore. We should understand that what remains invincible is who is willing to be held responsible and how we are willing to manage this properly. And until those changes are met, I just feel like the numbers will keep increasing, and that is why we say it's an invincible issue. And this time around, we're trying to make the invincible visible, because we are tagging some of our economic problems to things that we see. There are some things we target, food crisis, economic issue too. But when we have issues like food wastage there, and we hardly or rarely talk about it. So I think this is bringing it to the fore, bringing it to everybody's awareness that there's food waste problem all over the world and we must solve it. But this is how we leave you on the show today, and we're asking a lot of questions. We're asking a lot of questions, and the question now is whether government, whether retailers and consumers will treat this as a crisis. It clearly is, because it is a crisis. Food issue, food insecurity, anything that can lead to food insecurity is a food crisis. And that's where we draw the curtains for today, today's discussion. You can continue to continue the conversation with us on all our social media platforms. Share your thoughts, share your experiences, share your solutions too. And don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and follow us for more conversations that matter. My name is Cynthia Bassi, and I have been with
Gabriel Matthew Seriki.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that's how we say bye for today.
Bye for today.